Hi, Dawn Stensland-Menti. Right now in America, there are an estimated 900,000 missing persons, with 100,000 of those active cases of searching for somebody who's lost or missing. One nationally renowned expert I spoke with calls it an actual epidemic. That epidemic keeps this specially trained task force with canines very busy.
If anything else were affecting near 1 million people a year, we would consider it an epidemic, but we don't put that phrase with us for some reason.
Mark Hopkins has dedicated decades to this nonprofit search team comprised of men, women, and canine volunteers who specialize in finding those who are lost and missing. They're on call 24/7 to be dispatched to help communities across the East Coast.
I wish that every time we went out that we could put a baby back in a parent's arms. Sometimes it's not meant to be that way before we even get called, but people need closure. People need closure, and that's, until there's a better word, that's the word I'll use. I've been looking for a better one for 20 years.
Too often the cases are heartbreaking. Rather than a rescue, they're called to recover a body. It's a reality they're prepared to face.
The reward that I get is closure to the family. That's the number one reward that I personally get. The second thing that I get is that nothing is ever the same.
The challenge of training canines to search in all sorts of conditions requires many hours of practice for the dogs, as well as their human handlers who cannot afford to get distracted.
Canine handler can focus in on all the intricate details and body language that the canine has. If they're too busy turning around and reprimanding the individuals behind them, they'll miss the clue.
Go find her!
Canines like Cinder are trained in every kind of weather and terrain to track the scent and clues that'll hopefully help rescue someone. National statistics show at any moment in the nation, there are at least 100,000 active searches.
Every day when I'm on the internet, I get a list of missing persons, and it seems to me that predominantly young females that are missing. I don't know if they're being abducted for sex slave overseas.
Those disturbing reports drive these volunteers, who also have day jobs, to make a difference by donating their time and energy. They rely on volunteerism and generous donors through their website, gpsar.org.
We take donations, but we won't take a reward, because a reward implies to me that you're intrinsically putting a value on someone's life. So if the reward for you is $1 and the reward for somebody else is $2, then do we go for the higher reward? And what we always go for is the case that we have the best chance to bring our skill set to bear on bringing a resolution to, irregardless of any other factor: race, color, creed, money, demographics of any sort. Nobody's ever sat down at the dinner table in the history of society and said, what's our plan if I don't come home tomorrow or go missing? Nobody thinks about it. And when it happens, you're under the gun and you're behind the 8 ball, and it's already too late.
And time is critical, especially involving the search for a missing child. One tip from the experts here is that if you're out with your kids, especially on vacation, take a photo of them so that you not only have a recent photo, you have today's photo showing exactly what they're wearing so that you can show that to those search crews. Reporting for Another Thing, I'm Dawn Stensland-Menti. Up next, Larry's commentary.
I am taping this commentary on the birthday of our greatest president, George Washington, widely regarded as the father of our country. No. I'm not shooting this on President's Day. That's a made-up federal holiday. That was a couple of days ago. This is Wednesday, February 22nd. That's Washington's birthday. The general who, against overwhelming odds, defeated the British Army and made the United States of America possible. That made him an international military star and a unanimous choice for our first president. But he is our greatest president for one magnificent, selfless act of foresight. After 8 years, he retired to his home in Virginia. He could have been king, but he did something that few powerful men have the courage to do. He gave up power for the good of the republic. Now, you would think a man like that deserves a federal holiday named after him, but you see, the problem is America's second greatest president's birthday is too close to his. Abraham Lincoln, who ended the abomination of American slavery, who held the Union together through its greatest moral crisis and was assassinated for that courage of conviction, was born on February 12th. Now, you may think, what's wrong with celebrating both men's birthdays as federal holidays, even if they're 10 days apart? And you would be right. And that's why you'll never be in Congress, because you have too much common sense. You see, many states used to honor both men on their actual birthdays, but Congress got involved, consolidated the 2 days into one federal holiday, and voila, President's Day. The original intention of the day was not to honor any single president, but to honor the office and those who served in it. Giving James Buchanan, a man who was pro-slavery and ushered in the Civil War, Warren Harding, whose presidency was ripe with both political and personal scandal, and Andrew Johnson, who was impeached, equal footing with Lincoln and Washington. To put it another way, happy Donald Trump Day, everybody. But there was another reason for this abomination of historical observance. The representatives in Congress, who enjoy time off more than anybody, wanted another 3-day weekend. They even named the legislation the Uniform Holiday Monday Act that moves several federal holidays to create 3-day weekends. Now, at the time, the country was dealing with the horrors of the Vietnam War and the struggles of the civil rights movement, and Congress seemed impotent to deal with both. But somehow they did find the time to pass the Uniform Holiday Monday Act in June of 1968, and it was signed by Lyndon Johnson. So they did something. It was a dumb something, but it was something. And you know who really pushed for the name change and the day change? Advertisers, so they could trash the reputation of two American heroes to sell Japanese cars.
40 and many years ago.
Score a deal with you.
Oh yeah, massive deal.
Who's your founding father?
Please, can we make this stop? I've created an online petition to make February 12th Lincoln's Day and February 22nd Washington's birthday, and do away with President's Day. Let's not lose our sense of history, our sense of self in 3-day weekends, generalities, and commercialization. And most importantly, let's put an end to this.
Our biggest Coons Ford President's Day savings ever.
I'm Larry Menti. See you again next week.